Hi, welcome to part 3. Today's episode is all the questions and answers from the Twitchcast. If you missed parts 1 and 2, stick around till after the show and click on the link.
And we're going to kind of wrap things up with a little bit of a Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can go ahead and toss them into the chat and we'll try to snag them up. I know there was still some other questions in there, but hopefully you all liked this. You got a little taste of like what our different departments are doing on our teams. The goal would be to maybe do this with some of our other departments, kind of talking to maybe some of our other designers about specific things, talking to our programmers about specific things.
By the way, I know we're going over a little bit, but I just...
Steven wants to do a Q&A.
I want to make sure we have Q&A. Yeah. So if you guys are okay with it, we're going to go longer than normal so that we can get some questions.
I don't think they're going to have a problem with that.
I don't think they will.
So the first question I see there is about weapon swapping. What are your guys' thoughts on weapon swapping? Can people swap weapons in combat?
So we don't want players to be able to instantly swap their weapons in combat. There should be some time between for the MMORPG, yes. For the MMORPG, we want there to be some time between damage received or damage done before you can swap your weapon. It's not going to be substantial. It will be a few seconds, but
it's one of the things. Remember that the weapon system includes a combo system that it has its own skills and stuff associated with it. So not just like from a gameplay perspective, but also from like a technical perspective and making sure those things link together correctly. Yeah. We need to make sure that those things kind of live together.
There'll be no swapping at all. Actually, when you equip the weapon, it'll burn into your hands and become a part of your body.
You'll just have a blade hand.
Yeah, exactly. Blade hand. Nice. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Waiting for Toast to toss me the questions, but I'll just kind of look at some of the questions.
Toast.
I
smell cake.
A question that we had, and this is in regards to the 10% remaining on Apocalypse and where we are on that, as far as like what's left on that.
What's left on that?
Yeah.
So right now we're mainly focusing on stress testing with certain customized tools that we've created in order to really hammer account creation, hammer population on the map. Actually, I was walking by Mitch the other day and I saw him spawning thousands of
it's pretty cool.
Characters around him and getting a read on the server frame rate and the client's frame rate. So
I can't tell you how many there were on his screen. It was
literally thousands.
Yeah, my heart skipped a beat.
Yeah, I was like, how many do you have there? And I think he had like 3,000 character models spawned. Sorry, go ahead. So basically, right now the back end, focusing on really stress testing, kind of the new architecting that was done in order to accommodate the number of players that we aim to receive. And I am happy to report that I keep looking at that damn thing. Excuse me.
Damn it, Steven.
I am happy to report that progress is substantial on that front. So
awesome. Yeah. So hopefully that gives you a good answer. If you have follow-up questions, you can always just message me and we can figure that out. In regards to content, so a lot of people are curious about the MMO content specifically, and I know Sam has been working really hard on a lot of the story content and things of that sort, the stuff that people are actually going to like play through and get their hands on.
You're talking about story?
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to not talk about details of that, but talk about what you guys are working on in regards to that, because I think we show a lot of art and stuff of that sort, but they want to know about the content that they're going to get to play through.
Yeah, so again,
that's being worked on, but we can't show that.
Yeah, really. It's one of those things that it's still being
yeah, we don't want to show it yet too.
Architected in terms of what's going to go where and what pieces belong to what. And as far as implementation of that stuff goes, like we've got a gigantic lore Bible, we've got all this stuff kind of we're holding on to. It's more about figuring out what pieces go where, kind of the pace of everything, and then once we solve all those questions and we start, we'll be able to start implementing at that point.
Right. So as the Alpha 1 map, excuse me, is being laid out. From a design and population standpoint, a lot of those NPCs that contain certain story arcs or storylines, they need to be placed in areas that make sense, that they connect to, that they hook to, and that they connect with other nodes in that sense as well.
Right.
So that's a big component of that. We're not going to be releasing information on these story arcs. We will not release them until probably beta, when at that point it'll be difficult for us to even keep them under wraps. So we may give some insights
where
there.
will people see the content? Like, what kind of systems are going to be attached to that? Like, obviously doing quests and things of that sort.
Every system.
Yeah.
Every system contains it, right? Like all of the events are based around storytelling. All of the narrative quests are based around storytelling. All the organizational quests are based around storytelling. The game is built from a story, basically. So we want to make sure that there's a context and relevancy for all of the actions that you're doing in the game.
And even player-driven mechanics will still have story components. There will be a reason why that player-driven mechanic is available or required of the player. So every system that's created touches story.
Yeah. So I hope that kind of answered your question. It's kind of one of those things where we can't really show it, because if we show it, then we're showing you all of the story. So it makes it hard. But there's lots of work being done on the content and tons.
And we still have a lot of systems that need to be finished too. As far as the questing system is very complex. There's a lot of stuff that goes into
still
it.
Certain like objective types that are being worked on too. On
Well, and just the entire node interface of the quests and how they decide what NPCs to give them out to, how that decides what happens when that NPC dies in a node siege, right? Like all that stuff is still being built, and we need those in order to actually start.
I have a whole bunch of questions. Are y'all ready? So the first one is every whole. I'm not going to say his whole name.
My God.
For the I'm not going to say the name. Steve's already said the name before.
I never said it. Jeff said
I said it.
Yeah, Jeff said it. I wasn't here. This was prior to me existing on this team. For the melee sounds, will there be different sounds when hitting armor or flesh?
Yes.
Yes, that's already implemented currently.
Yep. So we have basically material channels that we use to determine what sound gets played at any given moment. And so based on what you're hitting, you'll hear different sounds based on that.
Yeah.
I saw a question real quick that I want to make sure to answer. Is the referral system. Part of what we have been working on with the new website since December, and making sure that all the platform changes are done to accommodate our very large player base already, is to assume that the changes necessary on the referral system are being implemented right now. They're being worked on, and we should have them complete very soon.
Yeah.
They're going to incorporate some new features, such as a code field. So you don't only have to use a link, you can also have a unique code that's assigned to your account, and you can share that code with players, and they can utilize it when registering for an account. Yeah. It'll also have a more in-depth kind of tracking system that players will be able to utilize to kind of see the performance of their campaigns or whatever as well. But those ancillary systems will come online after the initial launch. We want to get up and running as soon as possible, the links and codes first. And then we also want to make sure to migrate the previous data. Right now it's dependent on players migrating. We want to be able to migrate that for expenditures over to the new database.
Yeah. And originally, we were kind of hoping to do the code redemption stuff at the same time as that, so that it would all come out together. But we decided that we would put up the code redemption for like Kickstarter and stuff like that right away, so that you guys and gals could do that right away. Because we knew we had some tickets in queue that were, we couldn't solve those until that was available. So that's been solid, and mad props to our CS team, who's been kicking some booty. So if you've ever put in a ticket, those should be all resolved. Please check your tickets. Hopefully that time has been much better for you all, because we've been working hard on that end. But yeah, I'm excited to get the referral stuff back on track and running and rolling. So our next question here is from Mr. Quantum Observer, wondering, you mentioned private property sales certs. Is this like a landlord thing where you can rent your space? Will a wealthy enough guild be able to buy the auction house or other interested buildings in a node?
So there's a few theories that we're going to be implementing behind that. The most basic one is that this will allow players to transfer real property goods. So this includes freehold, this includes static housing, this includes apartments that they may own, and they can sell those because those will have limited and or finite quantity. This will not allow you to go above your one allotment of freehold in the game. So you will need to not have a previous freehold if you're going to purchase that. But it's something that kind of facilitates that trade between players. Additionally, some concepts that we have is going to be rental or leases that could be had, allowing players to kind of lease a property for a period of time where they will have,
Can have a little hotel.
control rights, or they'll have control rights over utilizing storage space on the area, controlling the furniture, access point, all that kind of stuff.
I always wanted to own a hotel. I think that'd be fun. Like, in a game, it'd be fun. Like an RP, the travelers coming in and I don't know. Is that weird? It might be weird. Okay, moving on.
No, it's actually awesome.
Pennygal wants to know, how is the backend development going right now?
It's going extremely well.
We just answered that one, right?
I think we did.
Yeah, kind of.
Steven kind of went over it. But it is like Mitch, the work that Mitch has been doing, right? Like getting 3,000 characters onto a screen at the same time is pretty incredible. And we've got, I think, 5 or 6 people really focused on really pulling out what we can in order to keep things moving good on the server. So, we had over 200 people on the 200 live players on the server at once. We should be able to push that up now quite significantly. Yeah. We haven't gotten enough people to do one of those tests yet to see where our new cap is, but we will soon. And we have grown leaps and bounds on our server architecture in the last 3 months. So I certainly have been super impressed.
Cool. You have anything else you want to add to that? Mm-hmm. Cool. Our next question is about auction house stuff. How exactly does an auction house work in conjunction with a player shop and rental stalls? Can you buy and sell from an auction house, or is it simply a place to list all the items an economic node is selling and their location? Is there maybe a taxation difference between auction houses versus player run things?
So auction houses will have a listing fee. And auction houses can be accessible in order to list items from the economic node in which the auction house exists. You'll be able to view items that are listed on an auction house from vassaled nodes, whether they're economic or not, through the auctioneer that or the emissary that gets placed there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll make sure you can't list there.
You can't list there.
You will need to travel to the auction house that contains resources and or material. Raw resources or processed materials. You'll need to travel to the auction house's location where it is listed in order to retrieve the stored goods in that node. And then if you want to move them elsewhere, you'll need to move them via caravan or any other type of transportation standpoint.
It's gonna be so interesting.
Additionally, player stalls. In an economic node, there is an area of space that's present near the unique building where players may put up a stall. They'll be able to put up a shop. And then in addition to that, there will be rentable stalls that are capable of being utilized for a period of time based on your expenditure. You'll be able to list any number of goods there for a period of time. There will be an attendant that gets assigned to the stall, and that stall's goods will be listed on a bulletin board that players can access from anywhere in the region and know where the stall's located to travel there and purchase. When the economic node reaches, I believe it's a metropolis stage, it will sell personal shop certificates. Now this allows players, non-citizens and citizens alike, to go to the metropolis. They can purchase the player shop certificates, and they can put up a player shop anywhere in the world with that certificate. They don't have to be near the economic node's unique building and in a designated shop area. Instead, they can go out in the real world and put up a shop if they wish.
Somewhere in your inn, perhaps,
yes.
Or maybe if you're running, a little shop on the crossroads on your freehold, you can put it there. But yeah.
All right, and the next question that we have is from Trilldoms, wanting to know, can you own chunks of land without developing it? Oh, that'd be kind of cool if you could just own a bunch of... People could own a bunch of land and just be like, it's a reserve.
You could put down your freehold and not put any buildings on it. You could put down your freehold and just put a bunch of farm stuff on
put
it,
sheep
right?
on it.
Garden.
Yeah. There's lots of things that are not explicitly buildings that you can put on your freehold and have it represent, something along those lines.
All right. I think we're going to wrap things up here, if that's cool with you.
Sure.
Sweet. So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in today. Hopefully you all enjoyed listening and hearing from some new faces.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched some of our previous content, but it was
That was
great.
exciting. I think that was a lot of fun.
Bacon and
Yeah,
Brad
that
on.
was a lot of fun. And I think important thing to note, moving forward, I'm definitely a proponent of this format. I think it was good. Important thing to note for you guys is that as we kind of roll out this format in the future, again, this is work in progress, so do not walk away from this thinking this is an end product that you're viewing. And
You're
make
getting
sure that
under the hood.
you're getting under the hood look.
privileges.
With regards to additional footage and gameplay footage, we do these streams monthly and we release articles weekly. So you can expect to
Try
start
to
seeing.
do them weekly.
Right, we try to do them weekly. Well, I think we release something every
Yeah,
week.
we've been
But
pretty
you can look for additional gameplay and MMORPG footage stuff as we move forward in future streams and stuff. Expect to see that because we are moving full steam ahead towards an Alpha 1 release, and a lot of stuff's coming online and is starting to look in a presentable fashion. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think whenever we show these systems, again, keeping in mind what Steven said is, the design stuff especially is like when you're showing these systems and how they function, a lot of what we're going to be showing is now this is how it functions, but this isn't what its end game going to look like. Like it's still going to
Right.
have some polish elements to
Yeah,
it.
you
So-
might see a lot of what we call programmer UI as well. That's basically non.
It's not pretty.
It's not pretty, but
But we have a
it
UI
gets the function
designer
done
now
too.
who's been
Yeah,
doing
for
some
sure.
amazing
He
work.
just is not going to get to all the
Yeah,
features
not
that
all
are
of
being
them.
implemented. Right
Not
now.
all of them yet. But yeah, so just final reminders that you can check out all of our new content on our website. So ashesofcreation.com/news has a bunch of new content there. We're trying to keep that up to date. So always go over there. You can check out our forums as well, and we are keeping in touch with everybody over there. We will have this VOD up over on Twitch as soon as this is over, so if you want to go check it out. And then it will be uploaded to YouTube right after that, and we'll let you all know on our social media channels whenever it is up there. So if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and all of that jazz, we'll always give you guys new updates and all of that. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next month.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Gals.
And that was part 3 of the Twitchcast. If you missed parts 1 and 2, click on the link. If you enjoy the show, make sure you subscribe. And thanks for watching.